Hey guys, welcome back to the Bumpy Road to $10 million. If you're in your 20s or 30s and are thinking about how to grow your money in the stock market, this series is for you. As a reminder, this video is not financial advice. You should always do your own research before investing. And if you found these videos helpful, please hit like and subscribe below. Now, we've done a lot of explaining and walkthroughs in the last 7 videos, and hopefully it has helped you grasp what this strategy is all about. But if I were you, at this point I would want to take a step back and know more about how the guy presenting the strategy, me, has historically invested his own money over the last 2 decades. Now, in the very first video of this series, I mentioned I currently work at an investment bank. I spent most of my career working in finance in New York, and that I have a CFA and an MBA. I also said, in my view, these qualifications are not really relevant to what I'm sharing with you in this video series, maybe with the exception of my stint in asset management. However, what is extremely relevant and important is my personal investment journey. How did I get here? And once I actually started following the strategy we've been discussing, how have my investment returns been? So let me quickly cover it. Personal investing is one of my biggest passions in life, and this strategy was created over many years through a lot of trial and error. I've been investing both my own money and even other people's money for nearly 2 decades now, trying several different approaches before getting to what I feel is the right one. At times, I've been far too conservative, sticking to blue chip stocks that barely move the needle. And at others, I've been too aggressive and lost almost everything. I've also tried a lot of things between too conservative and too aggressive. And from each experience, I learned something and kept refining my strategy. And this has helped me get to where I am today. The experience of investing my own money and having skin in the game has really been the best teacher. Much more valuable than any course, certification, or job has been. Now, while there were countless specific experiences that I learned from over the years, we'll go over 2 examples today. One success and one failure. In terms of the success, one of the first approaches I followed was sticking to investing in blue chip stocks. Coca-Cola, Bank of America, AT&T, basically copying Warren Buffett. Now, these stocks generally went up quite slowly, but steadily over time. In retrospect, they gave me nowhere near the returns I wanted. But in some cases, even with these blue chip stocks, I hit what most would call a home run. For example, almost 15 years ago, I spent a lot of time looking into Bank of America and bought the stock at around $5 per share. Around a year later, it was trading at $10, almost 100% return in 1 year. This significantly exceeded what I thought was the best case scenario, and I was very happy. But then the question became, now what? When do I sell? If I sell now, how should I reinvest the proceeds? These overwhelming questions actually gave me more anxiety than comfort, even in a scenario where, for lack of a better term, I had killed it. I also had a full-time job and other responsibilities, and I would need a lot of free time to properly answer all these questions. And even if I had all this extra time, I still might get it wrong when picking individual stocks. So this experience made me realize I just don't have the time or capacity to be an individual stockpicker. I decided to take Benjamin Graham's advice and stick to investing through index funds or ETFs in the long run, passively taking advantage of compound interest, what Albert Einstein called the 8th wonder of the world. In a nutshell, I learned to think long term, and my view is, in 100 years, I would expect the S&P 500 to be well over $100,000. But I have no idea if any individual stock will even survive the next 3 years. Let's now talk about a failure, and a pretty big one, as I had invested in something where I lost almost everything overnight. Have a look at this chart, for example. I owned a lot of this stock as VXY in early 2018. The price on February 1 was around $240 per share, and just 3 trading days later, the stock dropped to almost $23. More than a 90% decline, an event that was later dubbed Volmageddon. I lost almost everything I had at the time, and looking back, I really wish I owned put options to protect my portfolio against such a large negative event that I did not see coming. But instead of pulling out of the market completely, I decided to apply the lessons of this disaster to create a better strategy. As they say, school is expensive. The experience taught me that too much leverage is definitely a bad thing. So moving forward, I tried to create a portfolio where I could keep the upside of applying some leverage while protecting the downside to make my portfolio as bulletproof as possible. And this tweak in strategy has helped me not only make a lot of money, but also sleep well at night knowing my portfolio is well protected. And that is something that is quite underrated. So guys, these are just 2 examples of experiences I went through investing my own money, and more importantly, experiences where I learned from my mistakes to try and create a better strategy moving forward. Of course, there are several more examples, but in the interest of time, we're not going to go through more of them. The main message I'm trying to get across is although my initial investing experience cost me a lot of money and brain damage, I'm glad I went through everything I did because it allowed me to continuously tweak my investment strategy over many years to finally create something quite robust and maybe even anti-fragile, which is what I'm sharing with you in this video series. The next question you'll probably want to ask is, okay, that's great that you've learned from your experiences, but how has this strategy performed for you over the last 5 years? The short answer is quite well, but not in a straight line. Now, how do we measure success? Remember, this is the graph that we keep coming back to. And if you go further back to video 1, you'll remember that these are the numbers behind the graph. Well, the way to measure if I've been on track is by comparing the actual dollar value of my account with the expected dollar value here at the end of each year. For hopefully obvious reasons, I don't want everyone to know how much I have in my investment account. So I'm going to show you numbers that are accurate in terms of percentage differences between the target and actual dollar amounts at the end of each year. But on an absolute basis, I've changed them around. So you'll get a sense of order of magnitude. So here's a quick look. And I'm almost getting emotional looking at this table because in just the second year of investing in this strategy, I fell almost 60% behind my target dollar amount and told myself this is completely useless. Emotionally, it took a big toll at the time as this was an untested strategy that I had most of my money tied up in. So my net worth had declined by a massive amount. But I stuck with it, and as you can see in year 5, I am actually back to where I wanted to be. 2023 and 2024 were particularly great years where the portfolio returned over 50% in each year. So over a 5-year period, I would say the strategy has been quite successful. Again, these numbers are not what I actually invested. They're just rough approximations, but they give you a good sense. In the next video, I will go into a lot more detail of what actually happened in the last 5 years of me investing in this, including lessons learned in each year that have helped make the strategy more bulletproof as time went on. As I said earlier, experience really is the best teacher. So, hope today's video was interesting, guys. Please don't forget to like and subscribe below. As always, thanks for your time, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.